Thank you for clicking on this video. Enjoy!
Millie accidentally set free a little fire spirit, and now that fire spirit is very angry and has caused a weird fog to appear, which apparently has turned people into toads. So we're here to explore what's going on next. Tempest Tantrum, Chapter 4, A Guide to Heroism, 42nd of the Primordial Moon. But thank you everyone for being here. Morning. Good morning, you look... good. Good at what? Navigation, my duties, mosaics? Good isn't attractive. Look at us flirting. I don't know how to respond to that. Okay, just give me a moment, guys. Sorry, I don't mean to go and be right back. Sorry about that. All back. My apologies. I just need to finish checking on one small thing again. Sorry about that. Thought I was done, but not quite. Okay, yeah, we're good. Perfect. Sorry about that. Alright. I don't know how to respond to that. Very well then, I won't torture you further. Just tell me how your night went. Storm's still storming? Kyra, hi. How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing alright.
Go California Reaper.
Not as bad
California
as
Reaper?
Wow, that's just as dark.
That sounds fun.
Oh, there it is. I see it on the stream. She's
Yep,
eating
I
it.
see it. She's eating it.
Oh, that face.
Oh,
that face.
There's the
that face.
face one. Oh.
Oh my gosh. Poor car.
No, but not poor Kyra. Kyra enjoyed it. It's fine. Storm still storming? Yeah, honestly, that's a good way to put it. I spent all night rescuing people from wandering into the Quag Mangrove. The Wyvern Chimera really doesn't like intruders. The frog venturers keep trying to break out of the treehouse, too. I barely even had time to look after Fable's vegetable garden. Do you think they're okay? Do you think the storm has rich Velios, too? Are they equipped to handle it? What if they stumble into the Twilight Chasm again? Fable has faced much worse. After everything they've been through, I doubt this storm poses much of a threat to them. That does nothing to calm me down. Have some faith in them. They trust you to take care of the grove. Maybe return the favor. I'll try. So, now you're here to take a break? Do you need a room? No one else sees you resting? No, I just need to sit for 2 minutes in silence is all. Then I'll be good as new. Got it. Morning, sentient elderberry. Are you ready for us to blow your socks off? Depends. Who is we? Big guy, stop chatting with the sparrows and get in here. The poor birds, they were almost blown away. That storm is gnarly. Luckily, we're here to fix it. That's wonderful news. Can't wait to rebuild Millie's ancient gizmo. Though, innkeeper. Present. Couldn't you just call up your old pal Leviathan, send a prayer, ask him to pick up his tantrum-throwing spirit? I tried that. Unfortunately, I'm but a devotee. I don't have a direct line to the guy, either. Plus, there's the oath of neutrality. You know, they can only help us so much. I guess he only answers you when you need new recipes. Maybe you can ask for a working compass recipe. While we're at the topic of questions, Una, let me continue with a reasonable one. Didn't Millie want to fix this? She does, but I put her on packing duty so she can work out some of the nerves. We'll pick her up once we're done here. I assume that means you'll be joining her? Of course, I know the Highlands well. And Prim and I got super lost on the way back from the book fair yesterday. It was pretty scary for her. I can only imagine what it's like for people and creatures that don't have someone's hand to hold. So, we gotta fix this. Such a good Samaritan. You're going as well? Well, I was asked, and sometimes I gotta get off my old ass, right? Absolutely. So, can you build them a compass that'll work? Not a chance. We'll just have to trust our intuition and guess ourselves to the correct destination. Just like the good old days. We'll do our best to navigate through the storm. Maybe we'll manage to catch sight of some landmarks. I just hope we get there before it does any more damage. Got any tips, Leviathan's favorite? I know a navigator you can ask for help. Or a ranger, rather. Who? Leander Verifina, Fable's older brother and very experienced ranger. Sorry, what? He's already been helping people get home safely through the storm. He might be just the man you need. And he's in desperate need to get out more. I don't think you can just... You'll help us? Fable told us great things about you. That would be amazing. Thank you for the flattery, but no, I cannot help you. Think about it this way. The quicker this is solved, the less people will get lost in your forest. And the sooner those frogs will be adventurers again. I can't exactly just leave. What if something happens while I'm gone? Don't you have like 5 sisters? What if something happens to them? Don't you think they're competent? Well, yes, but... But? Don't worry, we'll take really good care of you, alright? It would really help us out if you came along. Doing our usual innkeeper things and being like, hey, you, go on an adventure, you'll love it. Fine, I'll take you where you need to go and I'll bring you back. But I don't want to get involved in your weird adventure. Famous last words, kiddo, famous last words. So, how are you planning on approaching this? With luck. And a magical drink. Reassuring. Alright. I say we pack a heavy dose of dexterity for my old fingers so I can reforge that mechanism thing easy peasy. Maybe also add a little intelligence to the mix. Some extra sparks couldn't hurt. Sounds reasonable enough. Got anything divine to add to that mix? I could offer you some delicious citron, both for the drink and as a material for the mechanism, I suppose. Perfect! We might need some blessings to fix something so ancient. Can't trust those priests to be stocked up on divine favors. This is starting to sound kind of blasphemous. You think you can fix an... let me see... ancient and divine design? We'll rebuild it. Right... Though now that I think about it, we might need some strength after all, to make any progress with it. Melly said it was so tough she couldn't even scratch it. Not a bad point. Should we add some charisma as well, so we can better talk through the Tempest? Maybe it doesn't want to go back into the zoetrope, or maybe it does. Either way, we should ask. That's insane. It's a powerful fire spirit. It'll burn you alive and destroy your surroundings before you can ask it about its feelings. That's what fire resistance is for. I like the way you think, big guy. Innkeeper, I think we could use your wisdom. Dexterity, intelligence, and divine blessing to put all of our focus on rebuilding the mechanism. Or strength, charisma, and fire resistance so we can try to communicate with the spirit. Let me think about it. Alright, I'm already on the book. Dumb. Okay. Let's try to communicate with it. I think. So I guess Sailor's Courage is the only one. Fire resistance is this, I believe. Gonna have to double check, but I believe it was fire resistance. Yep. Okay. Okay. 2 more of this, and then 1 charm. I think this should do it. No, we need Dex. Sailor's Courage. There we go. I think you've got nothing to lose from a good conversation. Who knows what the Tempest has to say? Might even have some good construction tips. Or an interesting life story. Exactly. This sounds negligent. It sounds fun. Right? Oleander's just like, what the fuck is going on here? Maybe you can say hi to the Guive guarding the temple, too. We should. Sorry, just to clarify, what Guive? There's a giant Guive guarding the Dragon Temple near Verica. Some of the others ran into it last year while looking for the ever-burning flame. Right, yeah, normal occurrences. Typical adventuring stuff, sure, I get it. You got this. We'll see. I should go pick up some supplies. I'll meet you at Broom's place. Head left from the Wizard's Tower until you smell the bread from the bakery. It should be easy enough to find from there. Thank you. Thank you, Ollie. No. He's like, no, I don't want that, that nickname. No, thank you. Ha! I'm sure you'll get it to stick. Nicknames usually do. We've got to head out too, Innkeeper. I need to stock up on snacks for Dindy before we leave, and on some bread. That bakery sounds tempting. We'll be back soon. I'm looking forward to it. Don't forget to pray for us. I would never. Keep an eye out for them, Livy, alright? I promise you'll have fun with it. Sure. We'll embrace our old companion. But thank you everyone for hanging out. I appreciate it. Sorry about the ad sets starting in 3 minutes. Tempest Tantrum, Chapter 5, The Eye of the Storm, 50th of the Primordial Moon. Would you look at that? The weather's cleared up. Does that mean they were successful? Hopefully no one turned into fog. Good morning, Innkeeper. Missed us? I did. But I consoled myself with the hope that you guys would bring the sun back to my tavern, which you did. I take it the quest was a success? Bingo! Congratulations. Seems like you 3 saved Fazoa once again, or at least you saved a lot of people from getting lost. Speaking of which, where's Oleander? What? He was right behind us. Maybe he got distracted by the bakery? Can't blame him for that. We almost lost Dindy there as well. Or maybe the bread ate him. I guess someone has to check. Bummer. Looks like we'll have to miss out on a drink. Are you just trying to avoid the recap? No, I'm doing pretty Elf a favor. I'm offering him my seat so he can be part of whatever this is. I have more than enough chairs. See ya. Can I please offer someone a drink? I'd love one. Very well, Detective. Any specific wishes? Something that'll fire up my brain so I'll be well prepared for my next case. On it. Silent Owl it is. One more view, thank you. Then 1 dex. And then 2 attack. Silent Owl. I'm pretty sure you'll like this one. Ooh, taste test. Delicious. No ancient puzzles or spirits will be safe from me ever again. Now, care to tell me more about your heroic quest in the Highlands? Happily. I've traveled to Verica many times, but because of the weird storm, it was really hard to tell where we were going. I don't know exactly how we did it, but somehow Ollie could still figure out north from south. Some would also call it skill. Welcome back to my tavern. Did Una save you from the bread? Barely. Good to hear. Your companions were just singing your praises. Thanks to Holly's fantastic sense of direction, we traveled so fast. But when we finally reached the foot of the mountain, you know, the one with the dragon temple, suddenly, the ground beneath us started rumbling and shaking. At first, I thought I had accidentally stepped on a trap, or freed another angry spirit. But it was just a grieve. You say that like it was nothing. Apple. Oh my god. Thank you for the 15 streak. You don't have to, I promise. How are you doing tonight? You say that like it was nothing. It was huge! A huge snake with wings! It was just as friendly as Kyle said. Even Ollie was able to talk to it. If you guys have not checked out Apple, please do. Apple is amazing. Which kind of sucks, because now you're about to be in ad jail. I'm sorry.
And bring me back the criminal who did this. I will,
But
of course,
everyone,
search as well.
please check out Apple.
Dot, dot, dot.
I'd appreciate it.
Isn't it dangerous to go without I've prepared the sub Digimon for my...
But if I can
Pro
make room
Initial
for
account.
it, Apple, I might.
Have anyone
Technically speaking, I
point
could
X
install it
level
right now.
of an
I have the room. I've made a room. So I guess technically I could install it. I'm interested just mostly because I didn't realize it had so many games in one. To be honest. I simply reasoned with it. We needed help from the priest, and it saw the necessity, so it offered to take us uphill. It was... so cool! I bet Archie's gonna be so jealous when I tell him I've written a Guive. It was very reckless. All of us could have gotten hurt. Sometimes I wonder if you're allergic to fun. Admit it, Holly. You really like the Guive too. I saw you studying its scales. It was... interesting, I guess, a fascinating creature. And surprisingly gentle. See, admitting it doesn't hurt, right? It almost did. The Guive carried us all the way to the top of the mountain to the Dragon Temple's door. Finally, I'd get to talk to the priest and figure out how to fix my zoetrope. Leviathan zoetrope, of course. The priests were amazed by the zoetrope, even though it was broken. They said it was oozing divinity, which sounded unhealthy, but also like a good thing. Una got them to invite us into their divine workshop to get a closer look at their forge and materials. I'm pretty sure she looked through every single one of their crates, trying to find metal we could fuse with the zoetrope. She also pocketed a lot of their crystals. Maybe she'll give you some later, innkeeper. What? Nothing! Anyway, even though Una was wearing her coolest goggles, none of the materials were ancient enough to match ours. But she wasn't about to give up. Even though it was unlikely to work, she was willing to try with some copper. First, she wanted to reinforce it with some crystals, though. And guess what? The priest said their forges can melt anything. Cool, right? Very. Speaking of crystals, do you think you could make me a drink with some citron in, Keeper? I'm craving one. How could I ever refuse you? You want something with citron? First off, what does this boost? It boosts charm and dex. Sunny Breeze, I guess? We'll go with Sunny Breeze. Oh, 1, 2. And then 2 intelligence. Sunny Breeze. Boop. Oh, that was the wrong drink. I just realized that. That was the wrong drink, wasn't it? I put honey flower instead of citron. I refuse. I have not, on purpose, ever made a bad drink. I refuse. I'm sorry. Hey, I said to load. It auto-saved right there. And my last save is the one before, the day before this. We'd have to no, never mind, we're not restarting. It's fine. How about this? Did you change your recipe? A bit. Maybe don't leave out the citron next time. Alright. Anyway, can we get back to Una's cool concept? Gladly. We decided to fix the zoetrope by building the missing parts out of obsidian copper. A brand new etrope, so to speak. I helped Una drop up the blueprints based on Archie's and my studies. We added some flower engravings too because Baya always says there's nothing happier than flowers. And then Clay and Una got to forging. She trusted me with the heavy lifting while she did all the finicky stuff. I learned so much. I asked her if she could help me redecorate my animal shelter sometime too. She said yes. I'm excited. Good choice. She'll come up with something great. Or explosive. Which is also great! Exactly. What part of the forging did you take on, Orleander? Holly didn't like our approach. It's not that I didn't like it, it just seemed ineffective. The plan was to convince the spirit to go back inside the zoetrope. But you wanted to fundamentally change the original design. I thought, what's the point of changing it so much that the spirit might not even recognize it anymore? Going through all that effort wouldn't be worth it. It would just make it angrier. What a waste of time. I told him that change doesn't have to be bad, though. Sure, we couldn't rebuild the zoetrope exactly how it was before, but who was to say the spirit wouldn't like its new home? Maybe not in the same way, or maybe not as much, but in a new way. I don't think we should deny ourselves joy just because something feels unfamiliar to us. Besides, what we wanted to give it was peace and happiness, not nostalgia. Well, yeah, I wasn't really up for life lessons at the time. I thought it would be useful to get acquainted with our surroundings, so I asked one of the priests for a tour. Showed me the clock tower, the enchanted statues, the desecrated altar of the ever-burning flame. They were still pretty down about the primordial flood extinguishing it. Said their temple felt cold without it, no matter how many candles they lit, and so on and so forth. I would have listened more carefully, but something was off. I couldn't quite put my finger on it though, at first. Like the calm before a storm, when the air slows right before the first lightning strike. Meanwhile, Una and Clay were doing an amazing job. But the obsidian copper doesn't want to combine with the material of the zoetrope. It's okay, Clay. Don't be sad. What happened? When Una tried to slip the final piece into place, I brought down the hammer. Whoom! And just like that, the zoetrope shattered into 1,000 pieces. Una said the metal got brittle after being exposed to the forge's flames for so long. I destroyed it. You couldn't have known. And then, as if summoned by the final destruction of its home, we heard a loud crash outside. I was just heading back from the clock tower when the sky tore apart and blazing bright comets struck the courtyard. The floor cracked and the statues splintered into pieces. The Tempest stood right there, enraged and mighty. It didn't pay the priest and I any attention. Instead, it was focused on the workshop. Like an angry flame, it rushed over in that direction, consuming everything in its path. I ran after it as fast as I could. Before we could even check what was going on outside. Hi, Ko! How are you?
Let me in. Oh.
Excuse me?
That
I
fire
was
is
about to say,
killing
where's
me.
the clip?
How do I stop?
How are you?
Who would have thought the fire is killing me? Who would have thought? I thought it was
Fire?
giving me a special.
Why would fire ever kill you? How are you doing? Before we could even check what was going on outside, the Tempest blasted open the door and forced itself inside. It looked even angrier than the last time I saw it, and I got really scared. The air around us was scorching hot, but I was frozen solid. I just couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. It's okay, Millie. We all feel that way sometimes. Your fear is there to keep you alive. Mindless, reckless heroism isn't always the answer. Though sometimes bravery is, and you found it just in time, didn't you? I did! I felt Clay's hand on my shoulder, then I looked at him and just gave him a nod. I had to try. So I carefully stepped forward and said, I'm sorry that your home was broken and that I left you all alone and scared. But we can find you a new home, I promise. I had nothing to offer except for our help. I didn't even know where we could find it a new home, but that was all I could do. Suddenly, it rushed towards me. I flinched and closed my eyes. Watching One Piece are gonna lurk sounds good. Thank you for being here, Ko. I love you very much. Failed my heart, but it's fine. But the heat never came. I had quickly pulled her behind me. I knew I could withstand it. I hurried across the yard, jumping over the debris and into the building, right when the Tempest was about to attack them. There were flames and swirling fog everywhere. It was hard to see. And I had nothing on me, so I threw myself between them and the Tempest. You hugged it! Sort of. Like a bastion of calm, I stood my ground. It fought bitterly against my embrace. It reminded me of a child having a temper tantrum. Even when the flames fully engulfed me, I chose not to let go. The Tempest flickered irritably, like it was fighting against Ollie's embrace. But instead of letting go, I hugged it tighter. Ollie was full ablaze. It looked like he was burning. Just that I didn't. The flames didn't hurt me. It felt like it was embracing me too. It's okay, I said. We've got you. We'll find a place for you. I don't know if I believe my own words, but it's what Millie would have said. I just closed my eyes and hoped I'd make it out alive. Suddenly, the raging storm around us changed. It was still there, but it got quieter. Less angry, more sad. The flames grew softer and engulfed me comfortably. It was warm, like the first spoonful of soup after a cold day. Of course, it wanted a hug, so I stepped forward and wrapped my arms tightly around both of them. That's when purple mist started swirling around them like a veil, first quickly then slower. All its anger and fear melted away in the embrace. I was so moved. I had to hug them as well, like a big group hug. So all it needed was a hug? It was absolutely insane guesswork. I just wanted to hold it back at first, but then it just kinda happened. What happened next? With the storm and its anger dissipating, the tempest shrunk in size. It got so small, it was floating in Ollie's hand. Seems like it really blew off some steam with that hug. But there was still so much sadness, it had lost its purpose. So I offered it a new purpose. I asked it to come back to the shelter with me and act as a guide. A guide? Sometimes new arrivals will get led astray by will-o-wisp, and I'd love it to act as a guiding light so they won't get lost. That's a beautiful idea. I think so too. The tempest seemed to flourish at the thought. We couldn't give it back its zoetrope, but at least we could offer it a new home. And what happened with all the destruction it left behind? Well, the priests were not amused. Understandable, given what happened. Okay, we're at the third one. And who would have thought that he'd actually learn to put his guard up and open up? Guard down and open up. It seems like behind that giant wall of duty and responsibility slumbers a gentle and caring soul that also happens to be good at giving hugs. I want an Oleander hug. But Una appeased the priest. She promised we'd help them rebuild it. We did, a bit, as much as we could right then. Rebuilding everything will take some time, though. Una's already planning her trip back, but we want to get back to the tavern first. Once we make it back to the shelter, Millie and I want to build a brazier so the Tempest will always feel cozy. Sounds like a great place for barbecues. Indeed. Will you join... Excuse me. Will you join us, Holly? You know what? Sure. I think I could stop by for a few days. But first, I need a break. Desperately. Saving the world is pretty exhausting, isn't it? Very. You know what's perfect for a break? A drink. Agreed. Would you like something for your headache? No, actually. I have to check up on those frog venturers later. And I might have to explain the situation to them, so... I've got something that could help with that. So some charm, I'm assuming? Yep. 1,000 winds. Yep, that's fine. 1, 2, and then 2 defense. 1,000 winds. There you go. You might have to get accustomed to the taste, though. Let me give it a try. It's good. Different from what I usually order, but good. I feel a certain urge to talk more. This is very weird, actually. You'll get used to it. Welcome back, Una. Are you guys done with all your yapping yet? You missed the most exciting part. Nah, I think I arrived just in time. I'm craving some free drinks, old pal. Adventures always come with free drinks, you know that. And a hug, especially for our Leander. Don't stretch it, innkeeper. What, you don't want one? I thought you had softened up at last. Maybe after the next adventure. Oh, that was really short. I knew we were probably going to finish it today. I did not expect that we'd already finish it. Cool. So it's basically just one adventure for Leander. So I found it kind of cool. So we did get to see some new characters in this DLC. And we got to see Oleander go on his first adventure and open up a little bit. It kind of added some extra context to the base game, which I enjoyed. I do wish it would have been a little bit longer, but I suppose in a sense it kind of makes sense that it's not too much longer, I guess. But it would have been nice to see a little bit more story of the aftermath of what happened a year in the past, if that makes sense. Like, I get that the whole purpose was to send Oleander on an adventure with everyone. But it would have been nice to see a little bit more of what happened to Fable, what happened to pretty much the entire adventuring crew, Kyle, Rhea, Carolyn, I should say. But overall, just as a standalone DLC, it was still very good. It was still very fun. I enjoyed it. Music, as usual, is great. I accidentally gave a wrong drink to our barbarian friend. I'm sorry. But no, overall, very good DLC. Again, kind of added a little bit extra to what the base game already offered, which is kind of nice. Yeah. So my question is, what I'm wondering is, will there be more DLCs to help explain everything, like the aftermath, more? I guess that's my question. Like, are there more DLCs? Like in the works, I guess. Because looking right now, the only other two things that I see, because there's some other DLCs, but it's mostly just a soundtrack and a lore book, which I guess a lore book is very nice, because you get to see a lot within the game, and you get to learn a lot of the lore. But it's nice to have the lore, like, written out, because we've played games like Hollow Knight where you see a little bit of the lore, but it's not, like, in your face. Really? Oh, let's see. Okay, November, story DLC, Twitch integrations, lore DLC update, early 2025, highlight trinkets upon receipt, and do plushie campaign, quality of life updates. Okay, so we don't know if there's going to be any more DLCs at this point, from what I can see. But honestly, it was such a good time. Like, when we played Coffee Talk, sure, I felt somewhat attached to the characters. I do feel I was more attached to the characters in this game, though, comparatively. So, like, the music, we're probably going to back out of the credits again. I usually sit through all the credits, but we saw how long these credits were last time. Especially because it wants to go through all the Kickstarter backers, which, fair, but yeah. Yeah, story was great, DLC was good, a bit short in my opinion, could have been a little bit longer. Then again, I suppose I just got, I guess, used to the long version of the base game, which was a lot longer. So this felt... Well, the base game took me, I think it was about 28-30 hours. On stream, anyways. While the DLC took 3 hours? Well, no, maybe a little bit more than 3 hours. We streamed 3 hours last time. Give or take. Oh, no, 2.5. 2.5 because I was losing my voice. And then an hour today. So it took us 3.5 hours on stream to go through it. So it does feel a little short, but it was a really good time. It was a really good time. It got us to see a little bit of the aftermath, got us to see Fable's brother that he had mentioned in the base game, and yeah. So, I just want to end off our friends over at Future Friends, thank you again very much for the opportunity to play this game and review this game and the DLC. I really did enjoy that. So this game is brought to you by Gentle Troll Entertainment, as well as Future Friends for enabling us to review the game. So they were the ones that gifted us the DLC, as well as the base game, because I didn't have the base game. So they went above and beyond and actually gifted me the full game plus the DLC. So I want to say a very big thank you. In terms of like these types of games where you're the bartender slash innkeeper.
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing and commenting down below.